As you may have noticed, Anivia is kinda OP right now, and I doubt that Riot will hard nerf her anytime soon. I think Riot realized that Anivia had 9 skins, so it's kinda value if they make her OP. Thus, learning how to play as, or against Anivia, is gonna be necessary for you guys to eat up some free LP. The most common combo you will be using on Anivia is the RWQE combo. What you basically want to do is place your ultimate on the enemy champ, wall them off so they cannot move out of the ult, Q when they have limited movement options, and the E for massive damage. It is possible to solo kill people with just this combo, so it is really important that you get used to using this combo. The QW combo is also an extremely useful combo for catching people off guard and hitting people that would otherwise have been out of range. Your wall actually displaces the enemy if you cast it directly on them. So what you can do is first throw your Q, then use your wall in order to knock the enemy back into your Q. This combo may require a bit of practice to get used to. The Q flash combo is based off the fact that if you cast your Q, then instantly flash, the Q will be cast from your original location. This is generally used to instantly reposition yourself in order to dodge CC or get in range for your E. You can combine the Q wall combo and the Q flash combo to do something like this. Tip 1. You can see whether you have your passive up or not by checking your level next to your health bar. When your passive is up, there will be wings on your level, and when it is not up, there will not be wings. The egg sign above your bar will also be blue when the passive is up, and grey when it is not. Make plays and bait your enemy when your passive is up. Tip 2. Your wall stops things that normal walls stop. This includes Nautilus Hook, Nunu Snowball, and Galileo Dash. You can also cancel other dashes if timed correctly. This is harder to do, but is possible when timed correctly, and can be extremely effective. Tip 3. Your ultimate ability does not stop when Anivia goes into Zhonya's. Using R Zhonya's is extremely powerful and can be used to buy time or dodge important abilities. Note that your ultimate gets cancelled when Anivia goes into a passive. Tip 4. The Egg TP. The summoner spell Teleport, however, is not cancelled when Anivia goes into a passive. You can use this to escape tight situations, especially in the early game. CC still cancels the TP, so make sure you think about the enemy's abilities before doing this. First off, you want to start with a Doran's Ring and 2 potions. Doran's Ring provides you with AP, health and sustain, stats that will increase your laning power. Although some people like starting off with Tear to stack it faster, with Tear being easier to stack now, I don't think the slightly faster stacking is a worthy trade-off for the lane power you will lose out on. Buy Tear of the Goddess on your first base so that you can begin stacking it faster. Before finishing your Archangel Staff, you want to buy a mythic item for the large power spike it gives you. The most optimal mythic item for Anivia is Liandry's Anguish, which synergizes extremely well with Anivia's high DPS kit. There are other options such as Luden's Echo and Everfrost, but these are situational options. For example, if there are not many tanks in the opponent's team but lots of assassins, you could trade off the DPS you get from Liandry's with the mobility and burst you get from Luden's. I will perhaps make a more in-depth item guide if this video actually gets views. After your mythic item, finish off your tier into an Archangel Staff. For boots, I almost always take Sorcerer's Shoes, unless against a full AP or AD team, where Mercury's Treads or plated steel caps can be considered. The rest of your build is also situational. Zhonya's Hourglass, Demonic Embrace, Void Staff, Banshee's Veil, Rabadon's Deathcap, Morella Nomicon, and Magi Soulstealer are all viable items that are optimal in different situations. This is an example full build with Liandry's Anguish, Seraph's Embrace, Sorcerer's Shoes, Zhonya's Hourglass, Void Staff, and Rabadon's Deathcap. For runes, there are two rune pages that are generally optimal for Anivia. The first one is the Electrocute rune page. This is the rune page I would recommend for most people playing Anivia, especially beginners. Electrocute is extremely strong in the early to mid game and will give you the extra damage you need. Although some people prefer Precision or Presence of Mind as the secondary rune page, after the Presence of Mind changes, Sorcery as the secondary rune page definitely feels more optimal and is preferred by most high elo Anivia players. An important thing to note is that we are taking attack speed over flat damage. This will make it a lot smoother to farm and trade with auto attacks, and I recommend getting used to taking it on Anivia. The second rune page is the Phase Rush build. These runes are better for more experienced Anivia players, and mostly for games where you are playing safer in lane and want to scale. Phase Rush can be extremely useful in many situations, especially due to how immobile Anivia actually is. However, the decrease in laning power and damage means that I will not recommend this for new Anivia players. Laning phase. Anivia's laning phase is much stronger now. Whenever your electrocute is up, you can trade with the enemy to proc electrocute, then back off. This can be done with a Q auto in level 1, Q E auto, or even auto E auto. Once you hit level 6, your wave clear becomes kind of insane, and you can use this priority to roam, follow your jungle, or ward. Mid-game is generally considered to begin once the first mid-turret falls. Anivia's wave clear is still useful at this point of the game. You can use your fast wave clear to get priority for the team, make picks, or teamfight around objectives. Anivia excels in teamfights and can be useful in many different ways. 1. Being the backline carry, dealing DPS and peeling for your ADC. As Anivia, you can position yourself in the backline, around where your marksman is standing. At this spot, it is extremely easy to deal damage to the enemy frontline, and Anivia's insane DPS and CC means that you can peel for your ADC while also killing the enemy frontline. 2. Controlling space and zoning. Anivia's kit makes her one of the best control mages who excels in creating space for your team. By using her ult and a wall, there are many times you can cause huge deal loss for the enemy backline, especially when they have a short range. 3. Bursting target squishies. Even while being in the backline, when there is a squishy enemy that comes a little bit too far forward, Anivia's Q has a fairly long range, and you can easily burst the enemy carries if they get hit. Counters. Anivia, like many immobile mages, is weak to CC and mobility. CC cancels the ultimate, and mobility makes it difficult for Anivia to do damage. Thus, champions like Victor and Xerath, who outrange Anivia and can cancel her ultimate, or Katarina and Fizz, who can dodge Anivia's abilities and burst it down, tends to be tricky matchups for Anivia. Make sure to think about Anivia's long cooldowns on her abilities, including her passive, and exploit the timings where her abilities are on cooldown or she is out of mana in order to beat enemy Anivias. Overall, this is what I have learned from playing Anivia for a long period of time, and I hope that it can help some people to pick up Anivia. She is really fun and strong right now. Good luck.